Hello, this is Dr. Victoria Skirbo, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. As I promised in my last video, I wanted to look at this very potent and powerful total lunar eclipse that's occurring on July 27th, not just from an astrological perspective, but also from a Kabbalistic perspective using numerology and the Tree of Life. And so there are many ways to work with the Tree of Life. There are many layers, many levels. Mostly my perspective is through the lens of what the Western occult tradition. And so it's a little different than the classical Jewish or Hebrew traditions, although of course there are connections. So we're going to work through the numerology of the English language, so to speak. And okay, so the first thing that we have to do is we have to get the vibration of the day. Now this lunar eclipse starts on July 27th. It's actually a very long lunar eclipse. It's the longest, I believe, of the 21st century. So it begins on the 27th, but actually ends on the 28th. But we're going to look at the date that it begins. And it begins July 27th, 2018. Okay? All right, so July 27th, 2018. And so how do we get the vibration for this day? Well, what we do is we add the 7 and the 27, and that gives us a 34, and then we add the 11 vibration of the universal year, and we get a total vibration of 45. Okay, you see that? That's how you get the numbers. 45-9 vibration. Okay? The numerology I use is connected to the tarot cards, and so each number is connected to a tarot card. And the tarot card connected with the 45-9 vibration is this tarot card here, the 5 of Cups. Now, whenever we're dealing with cups, we know we're dealing with emotions. And this is a card of sorrow, really. Okay, here we have this gentleman. He's in a black cloak. He's in mourning. At his feet, and I'm going to bring it a little bit closer to you, at his feet we have 3 cups that have spilled. I guess this guy is, don't cry over spilled milk, but you can cry over spilled wine, perhaps. But so there is this focus on what has been lost, and yet behind him is 2 cups that are upright and filled. Okay, but he's not paying attention to those. We also see in the background, we see a river, and then over to the left side of the card, behind his back, we also see a bridge going over to the other side of the river. This is sometimes seen as the river of sorrow. And so this is kind of a sad and sorrowful card, and yet not all is lost. And so this card, whenever somebody gets it in a card reading, I will often say, don't focus on what you've lost, but focus on what you still have. And so there's a need to mourn, for sure, but then you don't want to get caught up in the energy of that and just have it be about loss. It's really about, to a certain extent, letting go and losing the things that you no longer need, and turning around and seeing what's around you or what you still have. And so if you find yourself in the midst of a breakup, or you find yourself losing something that you thought you couldn't do without, you need to sort of look around and see what's still standing. And be grateful for that and move on. And so cross over the river of sorrows and move into a new life. And so this card signifies a need to let go and to sort of build a bridge and get over it to a certain extent. And what's interesting about that is that the energy of the eclipse is very much about that. First of all, it's a lunar eclipse, so it's a full moon. And here we have the eclipse. This is actually drawn for the United States of America. This is drawn for Washington, D.C. And we have the moon here in Aquarius, we have the sun in Leo. The nodes of the moon are there. Conjunct the moon and the south node of the moon, we have Mars. Mars is retrograde right now. And this whole axis of the eclipse is squared by Uranus in Taurus down here. We also actually have a square to Jupiter. Jupiter squares the nodes, but it's not tight. This is the Uranus square to the nodes is very, very tight. The Jupiter is much looser. The orb is much wider. So we could look at this as there being a fixed cross in this if we include Jupiter. If we don't include Jupiter, we just have a T-square. And I say just a T-square, where there's nothing just about it, okay? So, the card talks about mourning and emotions and letting go, and then focusing on what's left. And this full moon on the south node is talking about letting go, okay, of emotions. Now with Mars there, the predominant emotion can be anger, okay, anger, hurt, but that's not the only, certainly not the only emotions. There can be sorrow as well. Now what's interesting about this 45-9 vibration is that on the Tree of Life, okay, it is located right here. It's in a place on the Tree of Life called Geburah. Okay, and there's a couple of things about Geburah. Geburah is connected to the number 5. Okay, so we have the 5 of Cups, right? But it's also connected with the planet Mars. And so the vibration of the day sits in the place on the Tree of Life connected to Mars. So we know that Mars is very important in how to work through the energy of this eclipse. The 45-9 vibration, the 9, is the end of a cycle. And so there's another indication of something is done, something is over, and we need to release it, let it go, mourn it, and move on. So there's this energy. And where are we moving on to? This eclipse cycle is a North Node eclipse cycle, and so we're being asked to move in the direction of the North Node. And we have the North Node in Leo, and we have the Sun conjunct the North Node. Now the Sun conjunct the North Node is always going to be a powerful energy, but when it's the Sun and the North Node's in Leo, the Sun is the ruling planet of Leo, and so it's even more so, okay? Excuse me. Okay. So we can look at it this way. The other thing that I did with this is I put all the planets where they fall on the Tree of Life along the pathways, okay? Now, the year vibration, 2018, is actually an 11 vibration, and this is found here. So this is a vibration for the entire year, and so this is the path that's activated in 2018, and it is the path associated with the Justice card, so cosmic justice. It's an 11, so it's a master number. Master numbers sound great, but they're very difficult. It's really about keeping your balance through the extremes. And we can certainly see that. And what is happening is Geburah, if you overlay the chakra system on the Tree of Life, Geburah is connected to the throat chakra. And so, to a certain extent, we need to let go of words unspoken. We have to be careful with our words. Geburah is actually the place on the Tree of Life associated with having to make adjustments in your life. It's also associated with instant karma and just karma in general. Geburah is connected. The idea of Geburah is it's a severe energy. It's about cutting away the extraneous and that which no longer serves. It's a harsh energy, and yet it is the energy of change and necessary change so that we can evolve to the next level. And so it is not an easy energy, and we don't really get away with a lot with Geburah. So if there are people that you've seen getting away with a lot of things, this is the time when pretty much that stops. Okay, so for those who've had to sort of stand by and watch people get away with, I don't want to say with murder, but that's an expression. So maybe some of you are seeing people get away with murder. That's not necessarily. This is a time of, really a time of cosmic justice with the 11 vibration. And the fact that Gabor is activated in this chart. Mars is in Aquarius, okay? And so we look to see where Aquarius is. And on the Tree of Life, the path associated with Aquarius is this path here. Connects the Sephiroth Yesod with the Sephiroth Netzach. Netzach is connected with Venus. Yesod is connected with the Moon. Venus is what we value and what's important to us, and the Moon is our emotions. And so sometimes we are emotionally attached to things, and with the South Node here and Mars here and the Moon here, and being required to let go of attachments, okay, emotional attachments, because a lot of emotional attachments are not healthy. The Moon in a chart is how we react and respond to life. It's also connected with the past. With Mars at that South Node, it's about releasing the past. Mars in Aquarius has to do with, can do, among other things, is around trauma. And Mars is the masculine energy, so it's trauma around that masculine energy. Perhaps the inappropriate expression of that masculine energy. So there are a lot of men that are feeling very wounded at this time. And as most people know, wounded animals are the most dangerous. So we need to tread very carefully with people, and not just men. But this is the emotions that we're dealing with, and not all men. And I know this is a generalization, and things are changing. So, but I just want to say what's coming to me without judgment, and it's not necessarily a gender thing, because there can be women who are very angry, and so this is the kind of thing where you feel like you've been traumatized and you're angry about it, and you strike out, but it's retrograde, so you end up only hurting yourself ultimately, although you can take a lot of people down with you. So this can also be the mob mentality, the group mentality. Me and my friends think this, and we're going to go after you. So that's the kind of stuff that we need to let go of. That's the kind of stuff that takes us out of our heart. And then where Leos is in the Tree of Life, where the North Node is, where the Sun is, and where Mercury is in this chart, although it is not conjunct to the nodes of the Moon, is right here. Leo is right here in the Tree of Life. Leo is completely in the throat chakra. Okay, what we're releasing is the chakras associated with that is the solar plexus and the sacral chakra. So this has to do with our personal will. To a certain extent, this eclipse is about letting go of the personal will and allowing the divine will to work through, sort of to harness that personal will and allow the spiritual to move through and to sort of drive the bus. And this is challenge. The Moon wants security, and sometimes we feel like we need to do certain things or be a certain way to continue that security, and that can be challenging for people. Let's see, what else do I want to say about this? This particular vibration, this 45-9 vibration, is connected to Scorpio. Okay, and so Scorpio is right here on the Tree of Life, and it is the path that connects Netzach, which is the Venus energy, with Tiphereth, which is the Sun energy. So we have Venus, Sun here, this connection, and we have Jupiter and Scorpio. So that sort of brings in that other side of the T-square. So Jupiter and Scorpio is about understanding our shadow. It's about the opening up and then the ultimate healing of that. If we allow our shadows and our resentment and our anger and our hurt to have us strike out, are we any better than the people who trespassed against us. Okay? In order to heal, we must release and move towards a loving place, a real heart-centered place. In order to get to that place, we need to start loving ourselves. And when you've been victimized, sometimes it's very difficult to love yourself. On some level, you might feel responsible, or perhaps you've been socialized to feel responsible for your own victimization. Certainly, religious tradition has blamed the victim, especially if the victim has been a woman, because women are, we'll say, impure. Of course, that's not true. But these are all the kinds of things that are coming up with this eclipse, this energy, to be released. To be released. One of the challenges with the 45-9 vibration is that if you cannot let go, you can become embittered. And this is very much the energy of a 45-9 that has not been able to move through their hurt and move through their pain. Bitterness hardens us. Bitterness is also associated actually with diabetes, so this can create that problem. Interestingly enough, right? Bitterness and diabetes, not enough sweetness in your life. All right, so I think those are the major things I want to say about this. It's not as it's certainly not as complete as, or as long as, the astrological part. But I think that this gives you a good idea. So just to repeat what I said, just in a nutshell, we have the 45-9 vibration, which is the vibration of the day of the eclipse. It falls in Gabura, the place of instant karma, the place connected with Mars. Mars is actually conjunct the south node of the moon, and it's retrograde. So it's creating a lot of anger and irritation, a lot of hurt, a lot of pain. A lot of pain from the past is coming up, and this is to be mourned and then let go of, and then move on with what you do have left. Look at the cups. Look at the joy in your life that's still there. Sometimes we can get so caught up in our pain that we forget to look around and see what's working for us, and this is a time for us to do that. The South Node, Mars, Moon conjunction is down here, connecting the lower chakras, and then the Venus and the Sun, it's not Venus, the Sun and the North Node is up here in Leo, requiring us to find our voice. Find our voice, but it needs to be said with love, because whenever you're vibrating in Gabura, whatever you say comes back to you. And so if you want good things to come back to you, you have to learn how to say it and express it in a loving way. Avoiding bitterness, avoiding hatred. 9 is the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows, so you can have the sinner and the saint with 9. Okay? And so you best to be saying things with love instead of saying things with hate. And I think that's what I want to say. The next thing I'm going to do is a card reading. I'll include it with this video, so we can get some energies on this eclipse from the actual astrological, from an actual card reading. So I'll be back with that. Okay, let's get started. Alright, so I'm doing a card reading on this eclipse and the energy of this eclipse. So the first card that I picked is this. This is the significator. This is the first card. This is the immediate environment. Okay? And this is the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles deals with a woman who is comfortable, a woman who understands the power of nature. She is very manifest, although money is not the most important thing to her. She's very fertile. I don't know if you can see it, but in the corner there's a little rabbit running. Okay. And of course, rabbits, of course, are symbolic of fertility. So this is a very fertile energy. Interestingly enough, that in the midst of all this chaos, the first card to come up is a card really sort of connected with the goddess and the abundance that she holds, and the reverence that she has for her creations. The crossing card, the challenge is the Chariot. This is a major arcana card. It's a very interesting major arcana card. It's connected with the sign of Cancer. And it's really about your soul's journey. The Chariot has, the Charioteer has two, in this deck it's sphinxes, one's black, one's white, symbolic of the duality that we live within. It also, this person is also wearing armor, just like a crab does, right? And the armor is the armor that we put on, our soul puts on to sort of move along the path. This is a 7 vibration card, so it's about self-analysis. And as the challenge, I would say that the question is, what are you doing? What are you doing? What's your purpose? This is about your soul, sort of going in a direction. So the challenge is, what are you going to do? Where are you going to go? What is it that your soul, what direction is your soul taking you? And so that's the challenge. This is what we're trying to sort of figure out. Okay, the root of the card is this Two of Swords. Two of Swords is feeling as though you're stuck, that you're at a crossroads. It's a balance card, but it's balanced, but there's no movement here. And so the eclipse is an opposition, right? The full moon is an opposition. It's not actually a point of action. It's a point of awareness. And so again, this is a card associated with, like, what action are you going to take? There's no action right now. Okay? The past. The Devil. The Devil is about feeling imprisoned. There's a sense of being imprisoned. There's a sense of being overly identified with the material world. This is greed. This is avarice. Okay. This is slavery. Are we a slave to our jobs? Are we a slave to our beliefs? Are we free or are we not? So this is a sense of not feeling free, not feeling like you're sort of in prison. And I think everybody is in prison on some level, right? Nobody is truly free, but we're going for that. We're trying for that. Okay. This is the card that is in the heavens. Another major arcana card. This is in the sky. This is what's available to us. This is what's in the ethers, and it's change. The wheel is changing. The wheel is turning. So there's a lot of change just outside of our reach. Okay. This is the immediate future. Another major arcana. So the immediate future is usually 6 weeks out, right? But we're doing an eclipse. We're doing a reading on the eclipse energy. Now, eclipse energy can go for a couple of months. The degrees are activated. They're sensitive for a couple of months. So this could be, and then the next eclipse is in 2 weeks. So this could be a 2-week period, but this is more likely a 2-week period and then beyond that. So we can read it as the immediate future, and the immediate future has to do with the choices that you make. The Lover's card is really about choices. Who do you choose to relate to? Okay, who do you choose not to relate to? How do you choose to relate? Okay, it's all about choice here. This is connected to the sign of Gemini, duality. Okay, And what's interesting is that this is the immediate future and this is the past. And you can see it's pretty much the same setup, right? Except in this one we have the devil, and in this one we have the angel, but we have the same two people, okay? But these people are chained to matter, and these people are in the Garden of Eden, okay? And we have this mountain between us, the mountain between us. And so it's really a hard-fought battle to walk up the mountain to unity, right? To heaven. But again, this is about choices. So to a certain extent, this eclipse is helping us to get out of jail, really. Jail of our own making, get out of prison. How other people will see this. This is the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords is a little bit of a cautionary energy. It's about looking over your shoulder. It's about watching your back. It's about keeping your ears open to whispers. I'm going to leave that there, and if it comes, we'll go back to that. Domestic situation. Tower. So, we've had a lot of major arcana cards. So, the Tower card in the domestic situation can indicate, if we're looking at this through the lens of the collective, this can be disruption, right? It can be financial disruption. It could be emotional disruption. The Tower is an interesting card. It can be a scary card for a lot of people. It's not generally a happy or it's not an easy experience to go through, but it's one of those experiences that happens sort of to you and changes you and shifts you. And the energy of the Tower is really, spirit comes down and blows things apart so that you can break down all the false personas. So we may be seeing this in our own life. We could be seeing this in the collective. If there's somebody out there who has a certain personality or persona, this can be a humbling experience for them. Incidentally, this is the soul vibration of Donald Trump, so just as an aside. Okay, so domestically things look shaky. Ultimately, it's about realizing that we're spirit and starting anew from a place of self-understanding, with the facades and the personas sort of wiped away. This is our hope and fear card. I would say this is more of a fear card. Okay, I feel like there is a fear that if we do it differently, we're all going to be destitute. But in point of fact, if we do it differently, that will probably be the opposite of destitute. We'll be abundant. Remember, the energy at the beginning is this: the goddess, the mother goddess, the earth mother, with all her abundance. Take what you need and no more. Okay. And then, of course, what do you really need? With Uranus squaring this eclipse axis, squaring Mars, Mars opposing the Sun, and Uranus being in Taurus, the question is, what is essential? What do you really need? How much do you need? When you really look at it, you don't need that much. Most of the stuff that we feel we need is because we're not connected to our own heart. We don't feel full. When you're full of your own magnificence, and I don't mean that in an egotistical way, then you're not hungry, right? Okay. This is the outcome card. We have the Page of Wands. Page of Wands is about messages, so keep your ears open for messages to come. Okay. New learning, new beginnings. And then I'm going to see if I can pull I don't know, we have done so many major arcana cards. I usually pull 3 cards to see if I can get a major arcana, and I did not. But I will look under the last card. And this is sort of the hidden part. And this is a sword card, and it's actually one of my favorite sword cards because the sword cards are kind of hard, but this is a nice one. This is about moving from stormy, tumultuous waters into calm. It's about there's a sense of moving over the water, moving to a new place, a new level. And if I may, remember the vibration. Okay. It's all because it's also swords. It deals with the mental, and it's about moving to a mentally calmer place. Okay. So this vibration, this energy is very much emotionally based, of course, because we know that it's the 45-9 vibration, as I spoke of before. And then we have this 6 of Wands. And I'm just trying to find the 40. Here we go. So in this, we're moving over the boat, on the boat. We have this person with the woman and the child going to calmer seas, going over to there's a word and I can't, it's not coming to me. Just like we would do this, right? This is another one about going over the bridge over troubled waters to a place of peace. This one is we're getting aid, we're getting help. This one is going to be a choice. And so this has the vibration of the day. So there's a lot of major arcana cards in this reading, and when you have this many major arcana cards, it generally means a karmic time, an evolutionary crossroads all by itself, right? And so of course we know that's true with the eclipse. So this is really about thinking in a new way, ultimately. Keeping your ears open to the creative force, to your creative force, Leo, the North Node in Leo, following your heart, moving in the direction of spirit, right, fire, and moving away from the mental stuff, the stuff that sort of gets us trapped. All right. Okay, so there's one more thing I want to do, and this is an aura. It's called a meditation deck. It's called Spirit of the Wheel. Okay, and the people who did it are, excuse me, I got new glasses. This is created by Linda Iwashina and illustrated by Jody Bergsma. And it's published by U.S. Games, and I'll just show you the box. I actually was in Portland, Oregon at a wonderful bookstore, metaphysical bookstore, and this sort of fell off the shelf at me and like bopped me in the head, so I knew I had to get it. So I'm going to pull one card from Spirit of the Wheel and then read what the deck says. So this is for the eclipse. Just get a little bit, just a different perspective. And I'll have a picture of this card reading, all out for you at the end of this, so you'll be able to see. And we got the 15th card. It's called the Great Star Nation, Mystery Void, Good Fortune, and Grace. Okay, this is the card. So I'm going to read it to you. I'll hold the card up for you, but I have to find the page first. Actually, this is like one of my favorite cards, with the big polar bear. Okay. Let's see if I can read it like this. Okay, let's try. I have to put it down. I have to change the page here. So the keywords are mystery, void, good fortune, and grace. The prophecy. Enter the unknown, the mystery void. The place of nothing holds all that is and all that ever will be. What a humbling experience to feel the glory of the higher power, to become for a moment like a swan floating motionless upon the waters of time. Sort of like this card, right? Okay. You have looked beyond yourself to the greater service, and now the Star Nation rewards you. Experience the timeliness of the universe. Experience the timelessness of the universe, excuse me. Good fortune is cast within the stars for you. A wish you have long been hoping for will soon become a reality. Accept this gift with open arms, for you have worked hard for it. You have much to look forward to, so enjoy this quiet time and ponder the mysteries of the universe. Stargaze and heal your spirit through the recognition that you are one in the eyes of the great Creator. And this is your prayer. I thank the great Star Nation for the gift of good fortune that is with me now. I am aware that it is only by being humble that I am able to experience the inner peace and serenity that comes from touching the sacred space. Remember, this is in the sky, good fortune. So it goes along with the reading. So be kind to yourself, be kind to others, be gentle. Spend as much time in nature as you can. It will help mitigate some of the challenging aspects of this eclipse. And know that whatever happens is meant to happen, and it's how we react and respond to it that determines whether it's going to be ultimately a better experience for us, or if we decide to stay imprisoned. It's up to you. Have yourself a beautiful, wonderful, and I'll say peaceful eclipse, although so far that hasn't been the case. But we're all here for a reason. We're all here to help each other. Be willing to open up for help from others, and be willing to help others. Have yourself a great eclipse. I'll see you again in 2 weeks when we do the next eclipse. And that's it, right, for the year. Okay, ciao.